Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Wednesday, July 29th, 2026. We will be giving you a detailed and informative forecast ranging from the tropics to raging hot temperatures across the west coast and southeast United States. Okay, everybody, looking here at Typhoon Dolphin, extremely strong, right? Um, It is currently forecasted to reach wind speeds of around 175 miles an hour. I think it could be potentially stronger just due to the favorable conditions, and it's already underwent so many stages of rapid intensification. Obviously, you have a lot, and I mean, folks, a lot of convection on this south side of the system. It looks like it's undergoing some eyewall replacement, and it's going through it pretty smoothly. Obviously towards the end of the run here, and currently it's just working on sort of bringing together that western side of its eyewall. I think once it does that, it should re-intensify by later today. And I think we could see Category 5 winds as well by the end of the day. I think that is the highest possibility and the highest outcome. I think we're personally more, and I think statistically we are more likely to see a category, not a category, but Category 5 wins, right, out of this system, then we're more likely than not, right? I think that we just need to watch this system, not necessarily as a threat to land, but just due to the sheer power and history it could make, right? It's gonna be a sea storm. It's gonna be a fish storm. So, yeah, I think that's all we really got for Typhoon Dolphin as of right now. I will update further if it does re-intensify sooner. Alrighty, everybody. So we are looking here at the wide Atlantic GOES imagery here. Obviously, you have a lot of convection throughout, western Kansas, northern Panhandle, Oklahoma, into the northern end of Texas there, but more so in that southeastern part of Colorado. Definitely a lot of cloud cover. Could be seeing a good bit of rain. I know we had a few severe thunderstorm warnings out there earlier, so definitely a little spot to watch. If you're within that area, bat an eye. It's good to pay attention to this system, right? Um, but also, we are looking at potential for severe thunderstorms in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, I know that is a very populated city. That is a major city. So anybody from that area, I recommend you do watch this because we've had wind reports of up to 60 miles an hour already tonight. And as that system moves southwest, um, it should continue to weaken and dissipate slowly. So definitely, as I said, just bat an eye, right? Um, but you do have a good bit of convection coming off of the coast of North Carolina right now, just moving OTS out to sea. So, um, obviously, you might have some high winds on the back end of this, just due to the way it's sort of building. It's building off of a little bit of a front, right? And it's going to get pulled into that jet stream, which is going to help rip it apart from becoming anything. That's why there's no tropical risk coming with it. Jet stream is high right now. It's gonna rip it to pieces. And people state Cape. Yes, there is extreme. I'm not gonna say extremely high, but noticeably high Cape in western Tennessee right now. Cape values as high as 4,000. Just because there is Cape there. And I want to say this because it's a very over talked about player into the team, right? So what does Cape do, right? Cape is what brings together all of that weather, and it makes it severe. But when there's no weather to, you know, be brought together and organized, the Cape just serves no purpose. And as we can see here over eastern Tennessee, there is no convection. And without convection, you're going to have little to no rainfall, right? So we're looking at no precipitation, and that is why eastern Tennessee, at the moment, is not under any sort of risk. Um, although we could be seeing risks go up a little bit in the southeast tomorrow, very small area though. Okay, everybody, looking at our weather front map, we are seeing a slight risk for two specific spots um, in the U.S. So later today, we will be seeing, I apologize, tomorrow, we will be seeing a slight risk through Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Waycross, Albany, and that primary risk will be wind, hail, and tornadoes. Not really there. But also remember, uh, with severe thunderstorms, tornadoes can happen spontaneously. So just make sure to keep that in the back of your mind. But going up through western, through central North Dakota, through northwestern South Dakota, and eastern Montana, we are seeing a slight risk with the risk of a 5% risk of hail and a 15% risk of wind in that area. So this goes for Dickinson, potentially Bismarck, Sherwood, Williston, Minot, and Broadus. So guys, just make sure to stay informed. We still do have that marginal risk for Mobridge, Rapid City, Gillette, Sheridan, Plentywood, and Miles City. So please just make sure to remember that. And even for that marginal risk for the southeast here, we got Gainesville, Ocala, Carabel, Panama City, Mariana, Gothan, Eufaula, and maybe even southern Savannah tomorrow. So just make sure to stay informed and make sure to pay attention to your local meteorologist and weather station. So, fire weather outlook, nothing. Fire weather is not a risk right now. Which is great. Absolutely glad. But looking at our excessive rainfall outlook, we are seeing a slight risk throughout Albuquerque, all the way into Sterling, down into Tucson, and even a marginal risk through Phoenix, Vernal. But that that slight risk does go into Grand Canyon Village. So just make sure to stay informed because I do know the Grand Canyon is a bit lower in that elevation. Can flood pretty quickly. But it does lead all the way through Kansas City into Memphis. Now, we have a moderate excessive rainfall risk for New York. And that goes for New York City. So Middleton, Kingston, Pittsfield, North Adams, Sparta Township, Philadelphia even, Allentown, Stroudsburg, Bridgeport, Hartford, Springfield, Amherst, Greenfield. So make sure, you know, if you need to, put some towels on your doors, because who knows. There's excessive rainfall. Flash flooding is always in that potential. So you do want to be watching that closely. So now in that slight risk there, you have Middlebury, Rutland, Lebanon, Keene, Norwich, Brookhaven, Toms River, Atlantic City, which I know is a pretty big city, Salisbury, Baltimore, Dover, Scranton, Hazleton, Wananta, I think that's how you say it, and yeah, and then obviously throughout that marginal risk, you got Washington, D.C., Richmond, Virginia, Virginia Beach, Knoxville, you got Burlington, Ogdensburg, Syracuse, and what appears to be Western Boston. So that is your excessive rainfall outlook. And obviously, this is showing those temperatures, it's just showing that it's going to be hot, right? So, yeah. And then looking at satellite, looking like a beautiful night so far throughout the country as a whole. You know, obviously you still got a low convection just southeast of Denver, throughout Lamar, Garden City. Um, North Platte is getting a little bit of convection, so maybe a little rain tonight. Get a good sleep in. So, as well as Atlanta, I think from this point tonight, you guys will be sleeping pretty well. Yeah, it could get pretty windy throughout Macon, Albany, Columbus, but I don't think anything too serious. Although I will say for Morehead City, Emerald Isle, Havelock, Parker's Island, those areas, you're gonna have some pretty strong weather um, throughout till about 6 a.m. So definitely just make sure, you know, you're paying attention to any potential flooding because I know you guys are coastal. That is always a possibility with high winds there. But other than that, the USA is looking pretty clear tonight. Okay, everybody, looking here at the cone for Tropical Storm Fausto. Um, you know, just dissipating like any other tropical storm at the end of its span. All those tropical storm force winds are sitting on that northeastern side of the system, and is expected to become, and if it already isn't, a tropical depression. Okay, everybody, and looking here at Genevieve is a little bit of a different story. Yes, it is expected to weaken fairly soon. Got about 3 days till we could be seeing that tropical storm. But she is still a major hurricane for now. 130 miles an hour, sustained, gust around 150. Very, very surprising storm. I would say a lot of us are surprised at the way that it re-strengthened and grouped itself back for one last push there. I will say there probably are some intense rip currents across Baja. Um, it's looking more and more likely. So, yeah, um, that's really about it for Genevieve there. And, yeah, I think there's not too much more to talk about tonight, guys. Um, I will be covering Dolphin hopefully tomorrow night. Um, so, till then, guys. Okay, everybody, looking here at the National Hurricane Center. Nothing to look at for the next 48 hours. You know, pretty dry out. I don't see anything really having the chance to organize or even just come together remotely or become tropical in that sense. So, I think that, and what's showing and what's been pretty evident statistically and evidently, El Nino's suppressing the Atlantic as of right now. And maybe in September I could see a handful of named storms really come into play, but until then, El Nino's got it on lockdown. 7 days, also looking at nothing, right? Um, you're seeing nothing. It's really just a story of nothing right now. We did just have Tropical Storm Bertha. It was it was a tropical storm. Um, it was a little bit stronger, very very slightly stronger than anticipated, I guess. Um, and did did some interesting stuff. Now, looking over here at the Pacific, that's a different story. Um, we have Fausto, currently winds of 40 miles an hour, just grazing north of Hawaii there and Oahu. Now, Genevieve has been sticking around. It re-strengthened, which is very interesting. It just what a lot of signs are showing and what history is showing. It's just strengthening not significantly, but noticeably again, right? It's gonna get that little last burst of spin. Then it's gonna undergo eye wall replacement, where it'll then slow itself down because as it's undergoing that eye wall replacement, it's gonna enter that less conducive environment. It's been going through so many cycles that it's just shutting itself down. Now, Central Pacific, same story. One storm though, Fausto, gonna dissipate fairly soon. So yeah, tonight, if you guys enjoyed the content and you are looking to stay informed, um, ready, prepared, and you appreciate this life-saving content, um, please subscribe, like, show your friends and family, and I would love to continue this journey with you guys as well as you continue it with me. Have a great night, guys, and be safe.